All right, how do we all feel about this strange target?
Uh,
Boy.
I got to
Mm,
remember. Oh yeah, this one was interesting.
oops.
Yeah, it was super interesting.
I think it had to do some with somebody's house or some big old building that somebody's
Hmm.
in. I don't
So
know.
I remember getting a guy that he was a really he just seemed like um he was psychic and he was like a leader. Um, really interesting guy. I'll just say that.
I I had kind of a Montauk project kind of feel to mine.
Ooh, I like that.
Something iffy going on.
Yeah, I got some
Um,
out of place life forms in my session. It was kind of odd.
Oh, I can't wait to see Evans.
All right, well, let's start with Evan this time.
Okay.
Yay!
All right.
All right, what do we all think it is? Well,
Skinwalker Rancher Montauk.
I think it's Montauk. No, no, I have no idea. No
all right,
idea.
Some
all right,
building.
let's here we go. All right, so your target was a source of the EVP recording in the Ogden Exchange Building near past. So, Brian, when you were seeing Charlie Kirk, the Ogden Exchange Building is in Utah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so here's some quotes: waves, water, cool, person with hat. And you'll understand where water is and waves are important. People herding animals. Well, it's a stockyards. So it's what Sean saw. Looking down a hallway with doors like a hospital or prison, repository of people and ideas. Evan. The stockyards also spent time, I think, is an asylum. Hospital smells, operating room, hospital. Derek. Again. All right, so we're going to talk about the Ogden Union Stockyards Exchange and the EVP recording there, and then we'll do an analysis and a summary. All right, so starting with the Ogden Union Stockyards Exchange and EVP recording. All right, so in terms of the history of this place, it opened in 1931 as part of a stockyard. In 1971, it closed, reopened as a trade school. From 1974 to 87, it functioned as a mental health center. And then in 2005, it transformed into a haunted house. So the fictional Belshire Hospital Asylum story created. There have been reported deaths, so suicides, natural causes, and a 1940s triple murder. Paranormal activity. So there were 2007 investigators reported apparitions, including a little girl. And then there's an additional claim of an 8-year-old boy allegedly drowned in a nearby canal. That's kind of the water noises that folks were hearing. All right.
All right, let's get on to the mental hospital. This is going to be disturbing. Tune out if this kind of thing disturbs you. It might. So this first one is going to require some special attention, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
This one is easily the oddest recording that we have ever recorded, even ever heard. It's just so different from anything we've played.
Why?
The length of it, for one, it's almost 2 minutes long.
Oh, my goodness.
And at the time this was recorded, nobody was in the room. What had happened is I had been recording at the upper level of this mental hospital for a while.
Right.
And my battery started going low on my laptop.
Right.
So
Somebody
I moved the
said attic, by
laptop
the way.
downstairs into this room that was way off at the very end of the building and plugged it in and set it on a shelf and just let it sit there and record. And after I did that, I started walking out of the room and went outside, and everybody else had followed us out there, and everybody was sitting outside at the time this was recorded. And it sat there silent for about 7 minutes. And then all of a sudden, after about 7 minutes, you hear what can only be described as a child. And followed by the child, you hear an older man, and then the child again. And the child keeps going on and on.
This was recorded again in a completely empty room.
Yes.
And
yes,
there's
completely
no
empty
there's
room.
no chance that conversation going on outside that room by any of you or anybody else could have been what we're about to hear.
Oh no, definitely. And for one, it is to me definitely a child. There's no question that
You had no children anywhere near?
we never have children. We don't allow anyone under the age of 18 anywhere near our investigations. The other odd thing is, for about 15 to 20 seconds at the end of this recording, you hear water, and you hear it splashing and splashing back and forth, and almost a thrashing sound. And then you're going to hear a thud, and the sound just dies. You hear nothing else after that. In fact, the next thing you'd hear is me coming in to pick up the laptop and move it. We didn't include that on this clip, obviously, but
How do you interpret that splashing and thrashing?
to me, listening to this over and over and over again, and this is what really bothers me, Barbara and I and the rest of the GIS had a big debate on whether this should even be included in the show, because I thought it was almost too disturbing to play. But to me, it sounds like what you're hearing is a kid saying, "Help me, I can't breathe, I couldn't breathe." And
A
then
child drowning is what you think?
Yeah. I mean, I can't take it any other way. And, you know, we've played this for quite a few people that aren't in our group, that don't normally listen to EVP.
Yes.
Didn't tell them what they were going to be listening for, other than everything you hear in this clip should not have been there at the time. And they all come up with the same conclusion, that this sounds like a child being murdered.
Oh, my God. All right. Anything else we should know before I play it?
About the only other thing you should know is that you will hear water in this clip being thrashed around. And
Really?
there was absolutely no water in this building. This building hasn't had water for over 20 years. I mean, it doesn't have water running to it, period.
All right. Let's let everybody decide for themselves. Here it is. All right.
Pretty dark, right? Happy Halloween.
Well, here's what I know about EVP. Electronic voice phenomenon dates back in modern history to the 1800s in Norway, when a guy was recording bird songs and he went and played it back. I only know this from my training with the HRVG through remote viewing. A guy was recording like bird songs in Norway, or maybe it was Sweden. And when he played it back, he heard a voice, and they analyzed it, and it was playing in reverse at half speed. And the hypothesis from that is that time itself folds like a book, and then folds again, and folds again, and folds again, to the point where every sound, I'm going to make a thumping sound. That sound is now recorded in what we might call the Akashic record. It is locked in space and time right there. Now here as we cruise elegantly into the future, that sound still exists at that point in space and time. And as we move forward into the future, time folds in, and it's like closing a book and turning a page in half and folding again and folding again. And that helps explain why remote viewing works, especially on past tense targets.
All right, so you all definitely had descriptions of the Ogden complex. So two viewers sketch drawings of what appeared to be the actual Ogden Union Stockyards Exchange Building. At least one viewer, Sean, described scenes of animal husbandry consistent with the stockyard. Trade school, at least one viewer described activity that might take place in a trade school. Two viewers saw imagery associated with mental institutions. And then I would say three viewers captured imagery associated with EVP and or ghostly presences.
Wow, that was a really cool target. I had fun with this one.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's pretty dark.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. the remote viewing experience was fun, but yeah, when I
Well,
listened to the EVP, that was dark.
have any of you ever accepted the EVP, like the cold water challenge? Have any of you ever accepted the EVP challenge?
What is that?
I've never done. I've never done ghost hunting. I think it'd be fun to
So
try.
Glenn, our coveted master of HRVG, at one point presented that as a cold water challenge. He's like, if you ever want to have the literal heartbeat scared out of your body, go ahead and get a recording device and try EVP. And I don't, I'm, pretty well balanced guy, but I've never had the cojones to do the EVP challenge. And I don't think that I will ever, because I already know that they are there. Some percentage of people, when they die, are lucky enough to be in heaven 30 minutes before the devil knows they're dead. Some percentage of people aren't so lucky, and another percentage of people end up in the place where we're recording EVPs from, and they don't really recognize where they're from, but they're there. Certainly they are there.
So
and then
in the
another percentage of people, and this comes from a really good book I want to recommend, again, for all of our subscribers, is like I want to say it's Imagining the Seventh Sense, and I might have that wrong. So I hope you don't buy the book and read it and realize it's not there. One of the really good, credible books on remote viewing talks about this, and that
Is this Lynn Buchanan's book, The Seventh Sense?
yes. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
keep in mind, I have read every single credible book on remote viewing, all of it. And some of the tangential books that are like not from remote viewers, but they have some impact on it or some historical relevance to it. But there's something about one of the books talks about how one of the military remote viewing units was tasked to remote view. So check this out. So you have a sniper and a spotter, right? And they're like going to go kill target X somewhere in the world. Little did they know, and they never knew, that remote viewing team Y was at that same exact time tasked to be in the consciousness of the target at the moment of assassination. All right? Make sense? Everybody following?
that's
Yeah.
really cruel.
No, well, you know what? But what military doesn't give a crap about cruel. It's about like application, real world application. And they witnessed four different states of what I'm going to call transition.
Yeah,
And
Lynn told me about this. Keep going. I know
yeah. No, I
one
think
of
it
them
is.
one of them's super creepy, but yeah.
Yeah,
keep going.
I think it's in The Seventh Sense. That's Sean. So I'm glad you brought that up. That it was Lynn Buchanan, because one is a heaven-like state, another is a hell-like state, another is a popping out. Best I can say, Control Alt Delete, shutting off your computer, void, deleted from existence, like you never
the creepy
mattered
one.
or anything. You're just literally just gone.
Those are like NPCs or clones, man. That's
Yeah,
what I'm convinced.
non-player characters.
I hope so, but yeah, he
Yeah.
said they just disappear from existence.
But the fourth and most interesting one that doesn't correlate with anything Christianity or Catholicism, but does correlate with the majority of the world's population,
Yeah, reincarnation.
is reincarnation. And they witnessed at the point of assassination the consciousness of an individual being assassinated, and then the last 2 or 3, 4 pages of the military remote viewer's work was a 10-year-old boy playing out in the front yard with his parents, and just like bam, absolute like reincarnation. So, and if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I firmly believe that there are 4 possible states after we're done here.
So,
And
have
By the
any of
way,
you ever?
they didn't tell Lynn that he was going to be looking at the deaths of people when he did it. So he
oh
said
yeah,
he
yeah.
had nightmares for weeks about
Mhm.
the people that went into hell.
Did you ever read Journey of Souls, Derek?
Journey of Souls.
Yes.
I can definitely say that I have not.
It's a really interesting book. Hypnotherapist that used to do childhood regressions. He inadvertently discovered that because he didn't even believe in past lives until he had one come into his office that
Until he had one.
well, he had a guy that was just had abdominal stabbing pains, and he was trying to root around in his childhood for a trauma that caused the stabbing pain, and they weren't having any luck. And so he just gave a very open command of, you're just going to go to the source of this pain. And the next thing, the guy's describing being bayoneted on the Battle of the Somme,
Mm.
World War I battlefield. And so he started to open up to past lives because he experienced this, and he discovered that if you take somebody into a past life, follow them through their death scene and into the tunnel of light, they would start to remember the time spent in between incarnations.
Hmm.
And so he regressed thousands of people, and they all told very similar stories. So he wrote he sort of developed a framework of what goes on in the afterlife and all that. It's a really fascinating read, but it would kind of support the different narratives or the different circumstances you said
But
from Lynn's book.
I've also had other experiences where like my oldest daughter's mom died in 2016. And then the grandmother, right? Her mom died. And this is really weird. So we're talking about EVPs, right? So I'm going to pull out some esoteric stuff from the analog, repository here. After the grandma died, I had a dream. I woke up from a dream and it was the grandma. And she was like desperately searching for her daughter, who I knew was my daughter's mom. And she was like, I can't find her anywhere. I've looked everywhere. And in my dream, I said to her, you're not going to find her. She's gotten herself into trouble and you'll never find her. So go ahead and move on. And I woke up. And when I woke up, I was fucking sweaty. It was really weird. It was like I woke up and I was like, that wasn't a dream. That happened. That happened. And so, that's, one of probably 10,000 different stories that I could share based on having been a remote viewer for all these years. The more you remote view, the more your neural pathways associated with remote viewing grow stronger, and and based on that, your brain opens up things that you might otherwise not have access to.
Yeah, Evan, any impressions about this target?
This is a
You
cool
had?
target. I don't think I've ever worked a ghost target like this before, and I definitely got some ghost imagery in there. That was pretty cool.
I think I was kind of all over on this one, but I got little bits and pieces with a communication piece, and I
Yeah,
should have
you did.
explored more on that attic because that's where it all happened, the top of the place, and
I mean, you also indirectly got the state right too. Nobody else got the state right.
I don't know. Yeah,
Charlie
with
Kirk.
that,
You were talking about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
some ideas about stuff like that, but I guess the metaphor behind that is somebody died, and I had multiple.
Somebody died in Utah. Somebody died in
Yeah,
Utah specifically.
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you
yeah,
guys?
and
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good, Sean.
I
Well,
like to think that Charlie Kirk is in the group of he was in heaven 30 minutes before the devil knew he was dead.
Well, I saw an X just today. Candace Owens was saying that Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream and said that he was betrayed. And all these people are just
Mm.
like, "Oh, you're crazy." And I'm like, "No,
No, that's
that
a
sounds
that's a
legit.
thing.
Like that's a real
That's a
Yeah.
thing."
thing.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'll share with you guys a story. This is going to be along, it's within the theme here, so I'm going to share it. Um, so I wake up one morning, and the very first thing I hear when I wake up, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, was, "It's okay, don't worry, we got him. He's safe. He's with us." All right. 12 hours later, I got news that my dad died.
Wow.
Yeah, the precognitive dreams are real. I mean,
And
there's
it's
no
tough. It's tough for me to continue talking about that.
yeah,
That's
I'm
a
sorry to hear
powerful
that, man.
message you got though.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
I,
for
yeah,
sharing that, Derek.
just to add to that thread, like precognitive dreams are definitely a thing. I think the first one that I ever noticed that I had, you'll dream about something that has nothing at all to do with you, that you're not thinking about, that you're like, it doesn't make, like, why did I have that dream? It made no sense. So one evening, I'm dreaming about the philosophy of Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, like, about no technology and this and that and anti-industrial society, all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, why the hell am I like dreaming about this crazy man? I went downstairs that morning, popped open Twitter, and Ted Kaczynski had died.
Wow.
Like, just like random, random stuff. So
I
if
got
you
one I could
like,
share real quick.
yeah, go
Oh,
ahead, go
sorry.
for it.
I'm sorry, Sean, were you done?
Yeah, done. Yeah, go for
Okay,
it.
sorry. I hate to interrupt. So back in 2013, I went with my family to a restaurant in north of Dayton. And so my dad, my mom, my brother's wife, my brother's daughter were all with me. But we drove two different vehicles because my brother's a doctor and he had to work a shift at the hospital and he had to meet us up there after we were done hiking and we met him at the restaurant. So we're leaving the restaurant. And so I'm with my sister-in-law, her daughter, and my mom. And my dad and brother are following behind in his Jeep. So we go to the main street and we're turning right at a red light. And sorry, our light had just turned green, sorry. And their light had turned red. A guy pulls out of his driveway on his motorcycle. He stops at the red light just as we're turning. And a lady fell asleep at the wheel, plowed right into the back of this guy on his motorcycle. And we saw it happen. His head went back, hit the hood, went forward, hit the pavement. And my brother and my dad were a couple vehicles back. So they didn't see it. They're wondering, why is nobody going on a green light? So we pulled off on the side and I hopped out, ran to get my brother. And I said, Chris, there's somebody who needs your help because he's a doctor, right? And so he pulls over and he gets out. He runs over. There was a nurse walking with her husband nearby. So my brother and the nurse, this guy was in bad shape. They kept him stable until paramedics arrived. And the lady that fell asleep behind the wheel, she just was devastated because she was like, I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. And so I'm praying for this guy, but I see this poor woman and I'm like, listen, I was like, if there is such a place, it's not for people who do things on accident. Anyway, so they care flight the guy to the hospital, and we take statements and all that, go home. And I'm just kind of shaken by this whole experience, right? And I go to bed that night and I'm, just like praying, hey, please let that guy be okay. 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up dead out of sleep. It's pitch black. And I think, Derek, it's probably similar to that voice that you heard. Like, I didn't hear it with my physical ears, but it was just so loud in my head, like the remote viewing voice, I guess. and plus I can't see it, but I know there's a dude standing right in the room, and all I hear is thank you, and then it's gone. And so I got a sense that it was like that there was more to the thank you. I kind of got the sense of what it was about, but I was like, man, please don't tell me that guy died. But I wake up in the morning, my brother calls, and he's small talking. He never calls. He never small talks. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, I just wanted to let you know that guy passed away last night about 3 o'clock in the morning. So, but I knew what he was going to tell me. And so the really interesting thing is, and I don't know this, but what the sense that I got when he said thank you was not just for, for I didn't feel like I did anything, but he was like thanking me for praying for him. The weird thing is, I think he was thanking me for consoling her, and she's the one that killed him. But that's the sense I got. But also it went to my brother, so I passed it along, even though he doesn't believe in this stuff. But that was the most bizarre experience, but it was so powerful, so loud, so visual. It happened at 3 a.m, right when the guy died. It was it was crazy.
There's more validity to that, Sean, than what most people think. And again, for any of the subscribers that haven't studied remote viewing, look, there are side effects to remote viewing, and they're positive side effects. Evan, Brian, Sean, and Sean, you're studying remote viewing too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Look, there are neurological side effects to remote viewing, and I've described a few over the course of the videos that we've done, but you will realize that you're building neural pathways in your brain that may or may not have been there, and maybe they've been there, and you have an awareness. You'll increase the awareness of those, because I think all humans have the same abilities. It's just that we're aware of those to varying degrees. And so as you increase in your remote viewing skill set, you'll perceive your reality, the universe around you, and others, and your interactions with others in a completely different way. And and this isn't a plug for FFG trying to get you to sign up to be, a remote viewer or whatever, but God damn it, we're community remote viewers, and clearly week after week we now FFG, what do we have, 3 different teams online now, and we're all like on par, on target all the time, producing great work. You can do that too. And all it takes is just like a triple dirty double dog dare you. Take the plunge. See what you can do.
All right. On that note,
Sean, over to you, bud.
Yep. Thank you very much. See y'all again next week's target.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. See you.
Watch the full debrief at ffgrv.com.